Hello guys, this is going to be a quick impression of my thoughts on the Xbox One so far. So to dive into the first section, it's going to be the functionality of the device, especially coming from the Xbox 360. I felt that the Xbox 360 was a beautiful gaming console. The games that we played towards its life in the last generation were absolutely exceptional. Gears of War, Halo, and the list goes on. But those two games were the ones that really stood out to me. So now coming over to the Xbox One, I get more of a all-in-one experience type vibe from Microsoft as opposed to the strict gaming potential that Sony is pushing with the PlayStation 4. So the Kinect, first of all, I wasn't really that interested in it, especially when the Kinect was first announced for the 360. But being that it's bundled with the Xbox One, it really makes sense to just give it a try and see how it works out. And I have come to pretty much love this thing in terms of how easy and seamless it makes navigating through the user interface, and convenient it does, especially with the voice commands, is absolutely phenomenal. So let's turn the Xbox on right now. Watch this. Xbox on. As you can see, the Xbox over here turns on. Just like that. Just turn on the Xbox without even touching the controller, which is right here, and it's pretty much off. So now if I sit down in my chair, the Kinect will auto-recognize my face and auto-sign me in. So right now I am not, within its peripheral vision, so it doesn't sign me in right now. So let's sit in the chair. And it should automatically sign me in just like that. And you see how seamless that is? That is absolutely amazing. So to navigate throughout the Xbox's user interface, you pretty much don't even need to touch the controller. All you can do is just say Xbox select. And anything in green you just say, and then you pretty much go straight to it. So let's go to the store. Store. And seeing that there's two different items that have the name store, it actually tries to break it down even further to see specifically what do you want. So item 2. Games. Alright, I want to see more information on, let's see, next page. Forza Motorsport 5. Rate. 5 stars. Just like that, I rated the game without even touching the controller. So the functionality here, as you can see, is exceptional. You can just navigate seamlessly. Suppose you're just laying in bed and you're navigating through Netflix. Xbox, go to Netflix. And just like that, you can pretty much, you're the center of your command station, the center of your living room. You just communicate just like that. Xbox, go home via your voice. Yeah, I really can't get enough of this. It makes navigating with the controller pretty much a second thought now. So, as you can see here, this is just some quick impressions, how I feel. The console runs relatively quiet. It does get warm. This is where, over here, is where it expels the hot air, which is a rather, smart design because heat rises. But in terms of its noise output, it's nowhere near the Xbox 360 was, especially with that loud DVD drive. Also, I have this, pretty much separate in a table that I bought for this, which is pretty nice. I'll give you the link to that if you want to know. The table actually incorporates 2 fans that blow cold air upwards, but I don't have it connected yet. But this table is actually pretty nice. I feel that it's actually pretty cool for consoles, but it's really made for a laptop. But it holds the Xbox One up perfectly fine, and I like it just like that. So in terms of the Xbox One's dimensions and its size, it really doesn't affect me because I have it placed over here by itself, unaffected, with perfectly adequate airflow. What can I do here? Let's see. Xbox. Just like that, when you say Xbox, in case you don't really want to, if you don't know what to specifically tell it, it tells you these things you can say down below. More shortcuts. Just like that, you have all these different shortcuts you can tell it. Next page. Xbox, go to YouTube. Xbox, go to Hulu. Oh, I don't think I have that app installed. Xbox, go to Skype. Xbox, go to Internet Explorer. Xbox, go to Netflix. Xbox, go to Forza Motorsport 5. Xbox, go home. Xbox, turn off. Yes. And just like that, it turns off. So let's show you some gameplay footage of the Xbox One in action playing Forza Motorsport 5, and you can kind of see, the graphical proficiency of the unit. Hey, to demonstrate some cool functionalities with the Kinect, as well as some off-screen gameplay of Forza Motorsport 5 in action, let's get right into it. Xbox, play. You can't really capture the entirety of the graphics here, but to me it's exceptionally well, especially coming from someone who's played a bunch of PC titles, especially in 1440p. I'm impressed by Forza 5's visuals on the Xbox One. And also, this is a new monitor that I have here, and before I had an Asus gaming monitor. This is a Dell IPS. You can capture that Dell. This is a Dell IPS 23-inch, and I will be doing a review on this. And just to get it out the way, I absolutely love this monitor. It's essentially the quality of this 1440p monitor I have here, but just in a smaller form factor with a lower resolution. So as you can see, Forza 5 is just absolutely beautiful. Really, really beautiful game. Now, in terms of the controller, at first I said that it felt small and the thumbsticks were kind of loose in direct comparison to the Xbox 360's controller, which I'm going to bring up right here. But I've grown to really love the new controller that the Xbox One has. And the reason being so is because the back here, it fits into my hands a lot better than the Xbox 360 controller, as well as the thumbsticks. Even though they're smaller, I feel that my thumbs actually have more overall control of the entire movement of the sticks, as well as the fact that they're textured. Hopefully this camera can focus on this. It's textured, so this really allows that, that tactile feel to the thumbsticks, and you're really not going to lose grip of the thumbsticks in the heat of the action. And being that they're small, I can actually see what Microsoft is going here. Going back to the Xbox 360's controller now, the thumbsticks actually feel slightly more clunky and just slightly more obtrusive and in the way. But I still love this controller. This is really not noticeably, inferior. But another thing I like is when you have your index finger resting on the triggers, pretty much in a relaxed, not engaged state, so it's just relaxing on the actual trigger. I like the way the Xbox One incorporated like an extra piece of plastic here, which I'm going to show you now, which allows it so that your finger, it just feels really nice. As you can see, that little piece right here where your finger could just rest nice and comfortably over the triggers without actually engaging them. The actual bumpers, I can see what people were saying in terms of the fact that you can't really press on this end right here. You can only press on the outer edge. So it does take time to get used to, but when you think about it, when your fingers are around the controllers and you have the controller in your hand, your fingers, like, they rest this way, so you could just use the middle part of your index and still press it. But I do still find tendencies where I kind of like use the point of my index and try to press right here, and you can't do that anymore, like again with the Xbox 360 controller, like so. So if they can just kind of like fix that bumper, or you can just get used to it, this would make the new Xbox One controller perfection, in my opinion. And also the D-pad is just pretty much remarkably way superior to the Xbox 360's controller. Like, as you can see here, it's way more, tactile and way more precise. And also it gives you a nice satisfactory click when you're pressing it. The face buttons are the same pretty much. It's the same face button. It's just a different design, as you can see here. It's more 3D like on the Xbox One. The guide button is actually now up here, and then they replaced the back and start button with new buttons that are given a new name. So this is like the button over here to the left is called the view button, and then the button over here to the right is called the menu button. You still start games with the menu button, but they serve as different features within the dashboard. Say if you hover over a specific tile and you click the menu button, as self-explanatory as it is, it gives you more options in a menu for that specific tile. While the view will change the view of a specific item. Specifically, say if you're playing a racing game like Forza, for instance, and you press that view button, it will change the view of the car. So this has pretty much been a quick, well, not really quick, my first impressions of the Xbox One console. So far, I'm in love with this thing. I'm going to get some more games, definitely, and I really want to see what Microsoft and third-party developers have to offer for this console down the line. Hopefully, they bring back my favorite franchise, Gears of War. Halo's coming back. I'm glad for that, but let's see what games we have coming down. I'm really stoked for Titanfall and Dying Light and Watch Dogs. There's some games that I'm really looking forward to next year, so I'm glad that I picked this console up, and I absolutely love it. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Later.